All right, welcome to the third installment of Terry and Gary's Low Expectations podcast. I'm Gary. He's pro wrestler, superstar, Rhino, the man beast, Terry.
Yeah, our third one. We haven't been kicked off yet.
Yeah, we haven't been kicked off.
Right.
People are listening too.
Right.
You know?
And it's growing, so.
Well, maybe one day we'll get on iTunes. It's been 3 weeks now. So.
Right.
But,
they got to check us out and
they
stuff
keep
like
kicking
that.
us out.
Yeah.
It's probably you. They don't like wrestlers.
No, they don't.
Yeah. I mean, who does? But
Yeah.
All right. Last week we had a couple of entertaining guests. Rob Miller.
Right.
Who else we have last week?
Come on.
Tommy Gunn.
Yeah, right.
Tommy
Our good
Gunn.
friend, Tommy Gunn.
I'm sure he's listening with his mullet.
Yes.
And this week we have some awesome guests as well.
Correct.
We have to my right. We have this is my right. Yeah. To my right we have 3-time world boxing champion and my good friend Bronco McKart.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Good to be here.
The man, the myth, the legend. That's right. And then to your
left.
Yeah,
right.
We have artist. I might butcher the name. Tom Ouellette.
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 Because my name's Paulette, so I was just guessing yours was Alouette.
Yeah, it's just Ouellette.
Yeah.
Ouellette. Oh, whatever.
Ouellette.
It's close enough, right? I mean,
The man, the
definitely
myth, the legend from D.C.
DC.
Yeah. Well, or District 7. I butchered that.
D7.
Yeah, D7. Right. I've got Washington on my brain.
You still did really well, though.
Right.
It was pretty good.
He knows not to expect much out of me. We've known each other all our lives. So.
Yeah, so let's get into that.
Well,
Yeah.
he's actually
How
my
long
tattoo
is he?
artist.
He's a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Are you?
I am,
Yeah.
actually.
For how many years now?
For
Since the 90s, right?
No, since 2001.
Well, you've been an artist your whole life. I
Wow,
remember
yeah.
the drawing and all that stuff, and then he started tattooing, and then musician, all that stuff.
Yeah, I creeped on his Facebook page and I saw some pretty impressive paintings and it looks pretty good stuff to me.
Thanks. I appreciate
Do
it.
you like more the painting aspect of your art, or do you enjoy the tattoo aspect of your art?
Yeah, if I could just paint, probably would just do that and
Yeah.
tattoo.
Tired of looking
Just
at
the stuff I really want to tattoo on friends and things like that. But like, to me, it's a separate kind of thing. You know, I'm not a tattooer who paints. I'm a tattooer and a painter. You know, and I kind of keep the two. You know, I don't like to mix the two
Okay.
if possible. But I get, it's way less stressful painting. Tattooing is a procedure. You know.
Now, do you do Superman tattoos? Because we have Monroe's own Superman right here.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just too afraid to get a tattoo. That's the problem.
You don't have a
really?
Superman
You don't have
tattoo?
tattoos?
I don't have any tattoo.
Really?
That's what they call just Superman.
You gotta get it. You gotta get a
Yeah.
Superman
Right,
tattoo, or at
right.
least a Monroe M.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
well,
I ain't
Real
got no
small.
I don't have any tattoos either. They touch me and I'm out. That's
Yeah.
enough.
You could
You
do
don't
like the hair curl permanently on the forehead.
Right.
What were you
you
gonna
don't have
say?
any tattoos?
No, I don't
I
have.
thought you had that lower back tattoo.
I do
you
not
were
have a
talking-
tramp stamp.
Oh, okay.
I do not.
That's called a tramp stamp?
I think
Yeah.
so. That's what my wife calls it.
I was going to get a unicorn one, but Tom wouldn't tattoo that on me. He's like, no, you'll thank me later. I'm like, come on, bro.
I think we
Well,
all would thank you later if
we
we
got
just put it
close.
on there.
Let's just say we got really close.
Yeah. Real close.
To
Don't-
doing the tattoo.
Yeah,
not
don't
with
show
each
it.
other. You know.
Where was this
Yeah.
unicorn going to be?
Yeah, lower back.
Lower
with
back.
some flowers and, majestic type, Yeah, it was
Right.
really good. Yeah.
I can see it.
So fun.
Don't drink and
Good time.
tattoo, basically.
Right,
Okay.
right.
This was another time.
Yeah.
Another
You
time.
know, now it wouldn't even be brought up. But
Yeah. Yeah.
He
we're
didn't know.
kinda- Yeah. I was in my metrosexual days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
What's
Drinking
that?
days, too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I was dressing up really, still shaving my legs. And
Back when he put in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Like me.
And-
Like I'm living right
Before
now.
he gave up.
Manicures, pedicures.
Yeah,
I don't
nothing
care.
wrong with that.
No.
The good
Lower
life.
back tattoo.
I don't
Hey,
have
the
that,
first
no.
one. Tom don't know you that well to talk you out of it. He's like, yeah, let's go for
Let's
it, bro.
do it.
It look good.
Right.
Make some money.
Yeah,
I'm only going to warn you once.
right.
After that, it's your own fault.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about some of the murals you've done as far as like Darwin. Now, would that be considered a mural or no?
Darwin
Or
is,
what it-
is it's a
Well,
He's an
the
artist.
person.
Confused twice.
What's that?
Keep going.
Oh yeah.
never mind. Just
No, like Darwin and what are some of the other like you do portraits? That's what I was going for. Yeah.
Okay. Portrait tattoos.
Yeah, see
okay.
how-
I did.
oh, I thought you were
do,
talking like Darwin.
Let
like
me.
the,
right.
I did
what I
a
was
tattoo
thinking. Yeah.
of Darwin years ago, and that's
Yeah.
what he's talking about.
Oh,
So,
okay. Not on Darwin.
Not
No,
on
no,
Darwin.
okay.
No.
You're
Maybe a
old,
little-
just not that old,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right.
Right.
Well,
I did an iguana on Darwin's lower back.
No.
It was awesome.
It was
You should have
also
seen
another
it.
time.
Yeah, another
I'm
time.
96 years old, actually. I know
Right.
I don't look it, but
He looks great for 96.
I also lost 462 pounds. So
Right.
I look really good
Very
compared
svelte.
to what I used to.
Yeah.
look.
Stealth.
Stealth.
Thank you.
Stealth. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you. What did you
Is this
say,
mic on?
stealth? Yeah. Right. I should have had that green tea and coffee a little earlier.
Oh,
It's
my
not got it
goodness.
in yet. Yeah.
And this is low expectations, folks.
Right. So.
I'm gonna
Let's-
drink, so you go ahead and talk.
Okay. Yeah. What do you want me to talk about? Jeez.
Well, let's talk to Bronco for a second.
Yeah. For sure. How you
Bronco's got
into
a
it?
lot of stuff going on. He's retired now.
Yeah.
So what do you got going on now?
Well, I'm a boxing commissioner for the state of Michigan. I've been a boxing commissioner since 2014. I approve. I'm one of the 3 guys that approve all the fights that take place in the state of Michigan professionally. I do real estate. I'm with Colwell Banker Haynes Real Estate, and I'm a West District Supervisor for Monroe County for the Road Commission. So
Ooh,
I'm
the
all
road
over the place.
commission.
Yeah, baby.
We don't want to talk about the road commission up in
Yeah,
here.
they can talk to me about it anytime they want.
Oh, they
Come
won't
see me.
They won't.
Yeah. But no, things are well. I'm just busy. A lot going on. Big fight this weekend with Wilder and Fury, so I'm doing a lot of different radio, TV things throughout the week, just kind of making my predictions, who I think is going to win, how it's going to go.
So let's hear it. Who do you think is going to win?
Well, right
It was a
now,
draw last time, right?
It was
All
a
right.
draw. I thought Fury won the last fight. I think Fury has the style to beat Wilder. Obviously, Wilder's the biggest puncher in the game right
Yeah.
now. But the only thing that concerns me about this fight is the last fight that Fury had. He got a really bad cut, and it was just a few months back, and I don't think it had enough time to heal, and it kind of concerns me. But I'm still leaning towards Wilder to outbox him. I'm sorry, Fury outbox Wilder. And
I don't watch it very much,
still-
but it seems like Fury's sloppy to me. I don't know, just
he is, but he's such a big puncher. All he has to do is land one, and it's ball game.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's knocked out everybody's fault.
Yeah, Fury was on a WWE.
Yeah.
About a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think did he get knocked out? Did
I don't know. They
Braun-
usually
Braun
come
Strom-
in and
Braun Strowman knock him out.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just agreeing with you. I didn't see it.
Oh, I know.
Sounds good. I guess. I don't know.
Sure, he got knocked out. Yeah.
Haven't watched it. So
It's not that good.
too cool for school. I
It's
don't
not,
watch
it's
it.
not as good as the Insane Wrestling Revolution. So.
Exactly.
Or
There you
Impact. So.
go. Right. There you go.
So as far as boxing goes back to that, what do you think about the state of boxing right now? Is it
Right now, I think it's at its peak. I think it's higher than it's been since the 80s when it was in the heyday with the Tommy Hearns, Haglers, Leonards, Durans, Ali's, all the big fighters. Right now, what happened is a guy named Al Heyman kind of took over boxing. He signed all the top fighters. He signed and he got that deal with PBC Sports and Fox Sports. And so he's got about 100 and something fighters under his banner. And all the champions are fighting champions. The best are fighting the best. And the interest and the numbers are higher right now than they've been. And these guys are making, man, so much money now. I was a decade too early.
you coming back out?
Oh, man. Don't think I don't sit home and think about it. once in
I
a
bet
while,
you do.
but No,
No,
no
just
chance
for a
of that.
second.
Yeah, 1 second.
Right. Now, how's the social media, with boxing and stuff like that? Have they really went after that?
Oh yeah, yes they have. I mean, everybody has realized that that's the new wave. And actually, one of the hottest boxers in boxing right now is this young kid named Ryan Garcia,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got millions with an S followers, and everybody is all over him, and he's making just big money and getting the big fights, and it all started through social media.
Right.
They get on there and post their little videos of how fast they are and how this and how that, and people start following it, and it's a big thing nowadays. It's a huge marketing tool.
Right.
It's like the number one marketing tool
Yeah,
for
it's for anything.
Anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
you're selling homes, or if you're selling a
Yeah.
podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
you get your name out there, and that right person shares it.
Yeah.
You never know. I
Because
mean,
it's not just about accessing people. This is what people focus on also daily, all day. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
why
oh,
would
yeah.
it's the perfect storm for that, right?
Right.
Until you
And
see that person outside of Facebook or whatever, then they
it's
walk
just
right
you gotta
by, and
play
it's
it
like,
right.
hey,
Yeah. Right.
hey,
Yeah. Right.
yeah, well,
Going
okay.
on.
Yeah.
Right. So, but no, I remember back growing up, in the 80s and stuff like that with, boxing. It just was in your face all the time, and Tyson and like the guys that you had mentioned, and Hearns and all that. And I don't know, because I didn't follow it in the 90s because I was too busy, focusing on wrestling.
Sure.
Did it take a dip because of like mixed martial arts, or in the early 2000s?
Yeah, that's a
And
great question. See, what happened was when mixed martial arts came in, they got smart. They started putting all them free fights on every weekend, free.
Okay.
I mean, almost nightly you could find a fight on TV. MMA. Boxing was strictly going pay-per-view. So people, unless you were raised up in boxing, you know, like in my home, everybody in my family all box, and you know, it was kind of generational. Well, the young generation, like the generation behind us, they all got into the MMA. It was in their face, just like boxing used to be. So then, going back to this guy like Al Heyman, he bought all them TV spots and started putting all these free fights on TV. And now, almost every night, you can go home somewhere and either find a replay or find a fight on TV almost every night of the week somewhere if you search in your channels. So putting it back out there, getting the interest back up, getting these big fights and champions fighting champions, it's piqued the interest again. So right now it's at an all-time high since I've been following boxing.
Right, and plus with the right management, getting it out there, getting the product, and
absolutely,
doing
just
the
like
real good
anything,
deals
promotions.
Yeah, right.
You had some pretty big management, right?
I did, yes. I originally started off with Jackie Callan. They did a movie about her called Against the Ropes. Meg Ryan, yeah. And I was with her for like 4 years. And then I was with Sugar Ray Leonard for a little while, Don King. You know, I was with all the big players in the sport, so I was with all the top guys during my era.
What's it like to hoist that belt? I know you've done it. What's it like to hoist that belt once you've won that championship? I mean, what goes through your mind? You know, both of you.
You first.
Well, for me personally, it was, my grandfather, who was a huge fan of mine on my mom's side, he was, he'd been sick on and off. And as I was getting closer to becoming world champion, he was getting more sick. And he passed away about a year before I won the world title. But I was in the hospital, and I told him, I said, Grandpa, I'm going to win a world championship for you. And I'm going to bring that belt to you so you can see it. And, it didn't happen while he was alive, but I had 7 shirts made up, and it was a good picture of me and him. I was on his lap just holding, and he was smiling real big and laughing. And I had that picture hanging on the back of the chair with you. I always wore a floppy hat. Had that floppy hat out there in California when I fought for the world title, and I had shirts made that said "For You" on them, like I said. And after I won the belt, first thing I did when I came back to Michigan, me and my uncles went to the gravesite, and I brought that belt, and I laid it on his tombstone, and I told him, I did this for you. So that moment right there, no matter what I did in boxing before that or after that, nothing will ever compare to that moment. That was the moment for me.
Yeah. I took a different route. I wondered how much I could get on it.
Right.
Yeah, on eBay. Yeah. I'm like, I wonder what this thing's going to
another one.
How much did you get for it?
That's great.
Yeah,
I'll give
you saw the boat.
Right.
You seen how excited I was last week with my fake title. And I was holding it much. It was exciting for me, and I didn't win nothing.
Right, right. You were pretty happy.
I was really happy.
I think he was most happy because he got it on sale.
I did get it on sale, and I had a coupon. So, I mean, besides that, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Target has great clearance.
Exactly.
Great clearance.
Exactly.
SmackDown tag team title belts.
Right. He had me sign it. I know it's on eBay right
I'm going to sell it. I'm going to have Bronco sign it next week at the card show.
Right.
So
I can remember one time being at your house and looking to the right there and seeing in your laundry room, and you had the ECW title just hanging in the laundry room, like it was a
right.
just some stuff,
proud moment, huh?
That's great.
When you said, I remember one time I was over at your house, I got a little nervous.
You never know what stories are going to come
Were we
up.
drinking? Did we have girls over? Did we have dudes? No, I'm just kidding.
You're talking about unicorns.
Right.
Well, you never know. Unicorn stories coming back.
Right.
And then the nervousness didn't stop when I brought up the laundry room either.
Right.
Because that opened up a whole other avenue.
Yeah.
Carrying that spin cycle.
Yeah.
We have a real dark history.
Right.
Me and this guy.
Can't wait till your book.
Dark.
Can't wait till your book comes out.
Right. Tom's going to be in most of it. Yeah.
Let me write the foreword if you write a book.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but for sure.
I know. Okay, just making
It's
sure.
going to be an amazing book.
Right. You want to write it for me, by the way?
I'll ghostwrite your book.
There you go.
Pay me.
Right.
Pay me.
So
I'll do it for exposure.
there you
That's
go.
That's the
There you
best.
go.
That's the best thing. That's what artists always do, right?
Right,
They
right.
just do it for exposure. Hey, you can think of all the people will see this if you do it for me for
I've done
free.
a lot of things for exposure.
Yeah.
And
Every
he's exposed
artist
himself
gets
a lot.
asked that. Every artist.
Right.
No more.
That's why I tell Terry when I ask him to come to my shows, I'm like, hey man, think of all the exposure you're gonna get, coming to the show.
And that 3 new followers on Facebook.
You
It
got
was
5
really-
new followers.
Okay,
Well,
5.
my mom, my dad.
Right,
If you don't count them, then I guess 3. But hey, we're over 800 now on this show.
Yeah,
You know,
850.
real people.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know if they're real, but
Right.
they're out there.
We don't know.
I don't know how many times I can make an account. I think I'm at 320 accounts right now.
Right. I don't know if I didn't know you had that many family members. 800.
800 is a lot.
Yeah.
Of family members.
Right.
Do you do social media? I mean,
Yeah.
did you ever do a boxing page, or was it always just your personal page?
No, I have a boxing page too, but I never really overdid that. I kind of was more.
You need somebody to do it for you, basically.
Yeah. It's just something. I get on there so often and post pictures of different, when I meet different people and stuff like that. But overall, no. I mean, I do not Facebook and Instagram. I do more, like I say, just when I'm at different events with different people, pictures like that, stuff with my kids, and of course real estate, things like that. But
Yeah,
I
you got to
don't
push your real estate.
Yeah, but I don't go too crazy on it.
Yeah, not like me.
Nah.
Now, do
No.
you guys ever get annoyed by people that post all the time? Like,
Is this directed at me? Because
No,
I saw that side eye.
He did side. I was looking
Did
at
you
it.
see
He did
that?
side.
You
Well,
side-eye me.
I mean, you're promoting good stuff and you're a promoter, but like just the random person, you're like, oh man, or they're bitching all the time.
The drama.
Yeah,
The
there's
drama.
certain posts. It's to the
Yeah.
point now that I can see the post and know the person before I look at who the person is that's posting it,
right.
depending on what it's about. Usually
Yeah.
negative. I'm like, oh my
That's
gosh.
where that
Yeah.
30-day snooze comes in. Real
Oh
handy.
man, I'm telling you, sometimes on there it's like, man, I like it for positive stuff. I like to
Right.
use it for positive.
Right.
but A lot of people like to get on there. You know, everybody's a professional politician and professional news person and professional
Right.
sportscaster and professional this. I mean, they just get on there and vent and do things that they would never dare to do or say in front of different individuals.
Right.
Right.
It's kind of annoying.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because I was looking at your Instagram yesterday. I was just
Right.
kind of curious how many followers you had. I think
How many
you're
followers?
on Instagram. I think it's like 30,000,
really,
and you never post.
I never post.
You
I
need to
hire
up that.
someone. Yeah,
You need to up
I
that.
need you to take over.
Oh yeah.
Send me your
You can-
passwords. I'm
I
on there
don't
all day
even
long
know.
at work. That's what
should.
Dawn said. She said you probably don't know your passwords. That's why you don't
Right,
post no more.
Right. So I'll
I mean,
just give you my phone.
Yeah.
Nobody
Just
calls me.
Give me
anymore.
one of your 3 phones. I'll
Yeah,
take one of them.
Yeah. So it's funny because I have a phone for the marina and then my personal phone. Everybody's like, "Why do you have 2 phones? Are you a drug dealer?" It's like, no, one's for the wife and one's for the girlfriend. Just kidding.
Just kidding. There's no
Right.
girlfriend.
Right.
Don't mix them up.
Right.
You
But yeah,
can't both take a drink at the same time.
Okay.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much.
No, you go ahead and talk. I'll take a
okay.
drink.
Go ahead. Take a drink, Gary. And then you shouldn't have said I'm on social media all the time at work.
Well, I don't care.
Oh.
I've been there 26 years or 24 years.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
They're still wondering why they have you on payroll. They don't even know you're on payroll. They're
The
like,
less
"Why is
they
this
know
guy-"
me, the better.
Right.
So,
Right.
I retire in 6 years, so hopefully I can just sneak through there with nobody knowing my name. Hey, who the hell is this guy? Hey, congratulations!
There you
Here's,
go.
here's your 30 years.
They're definitely not going to say that's that guy from that podcast.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
So now, Tom, you used to wrestle. Let's shed light on that.
That's
And,
true.
Yeah,
This
that's
is a fact.
right. And we trained together a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
he started way back in the day, and him and Briar Wellington were really big in the independent wrestling scene, and that's actually what got me started. With school, and you guys took me to a independent wrestling show, or we met up there, and yeah,
I met you after you were already training.
Yeah.
When I met you,
right,
Brian met you first.
okay,
We were only 16 when we
Yeah.
trained.
yeah,
And so you had finished at least 6 months before us, right? And
Yeah.
Windsor at least 6 months before we
Right,
started.
right.
And so you just kind of kept continuing yours
training,
and practice because you had but we all grew up we all went to the same high school,
yeah. And then we would go up to Hamilton, Ontario, Canada,
That's where we trained. Yeah.
and you guys were trained by Denny Cass,
The great
and every
Denny Cass.
yeah.
R.I.P.
well,
Denny.
yes, R.I.P. for Denny.
Mhm.
Great guy, and we used to always drive up in his Lincoln, and he
Yep.
worked for Ford.
Every Friday,
The
he'd
best.
get
Every
off
Friday.
work, we would hit the road.
Right,
up
right.
there.
And it was some good times, and Denny was really good training because he helped train myself, and he was very good at the details. I remember.
He trained us in a
Yeah.
style that you can't even do anymore.
Right, exactly,
Um,
exactly.
Literally never talking about the performance aspect. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Never until the very first night of our very first show,
right,
which was odd.
right.
I remember asking him, I was like, so when are you going to teach us how to kick and punch, And he was just like, what, you don't know how to kick and punch? And I like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So now, when was your first match? Your first match after
My
being
first
trained.
real train match
Yeah.
was at Al Snow's Body Slammers
Yes.
in Lima, Ohio.
Yes. Was I on that show or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because I wrestled for Al Snow once, and that was the first time I used Rhino. And I used Terry Rhino Richards, and that was the only time. And then after that, I just dropped Terry and used Rhino Richards for a couple of years.
Hey,
So-
you remember that time when I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It just popped in my head. The time when we knocked the window out.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
the,
and we almost killed someone on the street. Thank
This-
God. Yeah.
We were at a facility that was a second level place, and we were messing around, and he acted like he was going to throw me out the window there.
Right.
And I kind of smacked it with my hands and knocked the entire thing out onto the street where there could have been.
Yeah.
There usually are people just walking up and down the street,
Oh,
and man, it could have been bad.
Yeah, and it was and I didn't think the window was that, like, literally he just basically touched it. You know, I had
Yeah,
you
we
in an
didn't.
armbar.
It wasn't like
It wasn't like
when you guys are
ran
that
into
big
it.
and strong, you know.
Yeah,
like
that's
to,
the
you know,
Hey, we
touch
know
it
how to
hard,
work,
you know.
kid.
Yeah,
All right, we work
I
light,
believe.
even windows.
I believe it.
Yeah, and that thing just popped like nothing.
Man,
And
they didn't even make us pay for it.
I know that was cool. I'm like, man, I'm poor. I can't afford
That's
this.
what I thought.
Yeah.
I'm like 16 years old.
Talking about your guys' training, I mean, have you ever thought about doing a wrestling school here in Monroe?
yeah.
The Monroe, Michigan?
I don't know. Do
The
you wanna
greatest
promote
city in the world.
Right? So
Yes, it
clean.
is.
and
One of the
So
nice.
clean and not flat.
Yes.
most
yes.
non-flat
Right.
cities on this.
Yeah, this
This
side
is
of
an
the
inside joke.
Mississippi. Yeah.
Sorry, this. Yeah.
But no, have you ever thought about doing a wrestling school? I mean, you're
no.
so good with the kids.
Right. It's just there's a really good school in Windsor.
Oh,
There's
so
a
there's
really good
closer
school
schools.
in Toledo, and you just have to have a really good trainer. For I'm more of a after you're trained, helping you out.
Okay.
Okay, let's take you to the next level. But when you're trying to step by step, the moves and it's pretty difficult.
That's for
and you need
somebody else.
Yeah, that's a special person. So.
What about you, Bronco? I mean, you ever thought about doing a boxing school?
No, but I tell you what, I always say the same thing when people ask me about that is if you give me a kid who already has this foundation built underneath them and knows a little bit, man, I can really add to it. But I just don't have really for me, it's the patience to start a kid from ground zero to the top. It's just, I don't know. I think because sometimes I expect more. I just know how I came up. And I don't mean like I was a fast learner or anything, but I worked super hard. And a lot of these this younger generation, I don't see that effort of that type of work that you're willing to miss your proms and your spring breaks and birthdays.
Different generation, that's
you
for
know,
sure.
Just miss everything because you have one goal in mind.
Right.
And it's like this is like a microwave generation. Everything's now, boom. Where we worked and we earned it. But I was telling my buddy Mikey, I said I think I'm gonna try to slam Rhino on the.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah,
That's
I know
why I
it
have
was
the
coming.
camera
I
on
could
you.
see it.
I
could
have
see
the
it was
camera
coming.
on you.
I was already politicking my way out of it. So
Did you have that Red Bull? Did you?
No, I had a monster. It didn't work.
Didn't
but-
work?
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm always the kind of guy when I meet a guy, I'm like, hey, how you doing, big fella? You good? I'm always
feeling them
touching.
up.
I do, man. When I
Right.
shook your hand, it was like, I'm like, okay, I get it why they call him Rhino.
Never mind on that, on that body slam.
You could
It
definitely.
was like heavy.
So am I the only person here that's body slammed you?
Huh? No, what have you
I've
body
body
slammed?
I haven't, but I wanted to sound cool for 5 seconds. Like you guys,
Right. Okay, yeah, you're the only one here. Wink, wink. No,
the wink,
Tom,
wink.
Tom's actually beat the crap out of me.
I was
a few
all-
times.
I've body slammed him in a trailer park.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Well, a trailer.
Eminem's
Right.
Trailer Park or
No,
No, not quite. No.
no?
In D7.
8 Mile? Oh, D7.
I didn't say
D7. You got like hand
D7.
motions for that. D7.
Hell yeah.
Not just the worst trailer park in
Right,
D7.
right. Actually, I lived there twice. It was pretty nice. We used to actually work out, like practice in the trailer.
I mean, like
Yeah, like, as far as
That
like
had to be
arm bars and stuff.
Very
I rented-
unfurnished trailer when you
take
guys are
this
done with
hip
it.
toss into the couch.
Right. No, but we would watch Monday Night Raw, and then I actually stole cable, and then we Nitro.
This is on TV.
too.
He didn't really
Yeah.
steal it. He
Well, no-
borrowed it.
Oh no, we
Right.
stole it.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
yeah,
never mind. They
100%.
stole it.
Yeah. So for 6 months, and then they got hip to the game, and it was off, and I couldn't afford it. But Briar Wellington, he would bring over his VCR, and we'd record Raw and SmackDown, and we'd watch, Raw and Nitro, and we'd look at some moves, and we kind of walk through it and stuff like that, and I'm surprised we didn't knock that trailer off the foundation. That
I
would
mean, it
really,
sounds kind of goofy, but like
Yeah.
we were really serious and passionate, and everybody kind of had their secret hopes laid into him because you could just tell, that he was the one out of all of us.
He was the
gonna
chosen
go.
one, huh?
It was
No,
just obvious.
you put
I
up-
It was
think.
obvious.
To me, it always seemed to be. Yeah,
He's always been that big brooding
Thank
dude.
you.
he just
You're
had
too
everything.
kind.
He had all the look. He looked like a
Ugliness.
cartoon character, human, like
ugliness.
bigger than us.
Yeah.
Like he was really good at what he did, and it's like put in a ton of effort and passion.
Well, that's what it's got to do, right? The work
Yeah.
involved
Yeah.
has to be,
Yeah,
and you
Well,
got to
plus-
love it.
Yeah, and plus, like we ate, we would breathe and sleep wrestling, and
yeah, it was all. Yeah.
yeah, that's what we did, and and it's the people you surround yourself with too,
Yeah.
that help you, and they used to. You can tell them. Tom actually just brought this up how they used to steal groceries because I couldn't afford groceries, and I've
Borrowed groceries.
yeah
is
borrowed
easier,
groceries, yeah, they were
borrowed.
We
Groceries.
don't want him back.
yeah right
We were
cans-
poor. Like we
Yeah.
were actually poor people. Like,
yeah, canned
And-
tuna fish, and
Well, it
yeah,
seems like some of the greatest stars start off poor,
Yeah.
and then they put the hard work and effort into it,
right,
and then
right,
they become.
I think
You know.
that's what drives you.
right.
I think that drives you more than, I mean, if you have everything and you really have nothing that you so-called have to work for, what is your motivation?
And you gotta love what you're doing. I imagine,
Absolutely.
whether it's being body slammed or punched in the face, or
Yeah,
not, or trying not to get punched in the face.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like I always said, I wasn't driven by say the fear of losing. I was driven by giving you the opportunity to tell me that I couldn't make it and that I was going to lose. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
wasn't
like-
myself personally. It was
Underestimate me.
Yeah.
Let me show you what
oh,
I'll do.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it
I
when
love when people underestimate me. It's the
Me
greatest
too.
feeling.
Well, you were talking, Tom, about showmanship. I think,
Mm-hmm.
right? Learning the ropes as far as wrestling and boxing. How much showmanship goes into it? Is that something you would just
Into
are
wrestling?
just God given? Like boxing too. I mean, you got to be a showman anymore.
Well, I mean, to me, life is a performance, and always on some level, But I think wrestling and showmanship is a huge thing. Wouldn't you say, Terry?
Oh
I mean,
yeah, for
without it, you're you're
Yeah.
handicapped for sure.
well, those best spots that you write, that you say, that those moments that you just
I mean, you just need that charisma and
Or wearing
that
the-
thing that makes people like you in the real world.
Right,
Can
right.
translate through a character and all that.
this something just happens naturally. This is something you have to work at too. Just like
I think
just
it's
like,
a little
you know,
natural,
little
and then
natural.
you have to work at it too. To
You can't lack either one, really.
right,
you know?
right. But it's just you gotta take it to the next level. Really,
I think wrestling obviously more than boxing, but if you look at like one of the greatest fighters of all time, in my opinion, the greatest, Muhammad Ali, he modeled himself after Gorgeous George.
Freddie Blassie.
Yeah, he said he saw him one night wrestling, and just the way how he was so flamboyant and carried himself, he thought, oh
Well,
man,
that's where
that's what I
talking
have to
trash
do.
kind of came from. was
Absolutely.
from wrestling.
So yeah,
but you got to still be good. I mean, you can be as
Oh, yeah.
flamboyant and showman as you
Oh,
want.
yeah,
You
yeah.
go
If
out
you're
there
a
and
terrible
get your
worker,
teeth
yeah,
knocked
yeah.
out.
Right. If you're hurting
it really
people,
didn't matter.
Right.
So you got to put all that together and be like the complete package.
well, like a guy like Floyd Mayweather, who half the people were there to see him win, half the people there were to see him lose. But as long as they were there, he was willing to play the bad guy.
right.
Just as long as they're buying tickets, it doesn't matter what role you play, just sell out the house.
Is that something consciously goes into it? I know, like in wrestling, you're either the heel or you're either with the baby face.
Yeah.
So is that something as a boxer? Do you go in there?
I mean,
you want to
not-
show them that you're the bad guy, or do you show them that you want to be the the good guy?
Not
kind of thing?
typically, but some guys just wear it. Like
Right.
a guy like Mike Tyson. He wasn't like a showman. He was just an animal.
Oh, yeah,
you
he'd
know,
come in, knock
because
you
he
out,
was
and go
so
back.
vicious. That was his show. They
Yeah.
were like, man, you never know what you're going to get with this guy. So everybody has their own role, but
Scary.
fighters don't really
So
like
scary.
to play the say bad guy per se. Just some guys are and some guys aren't. They don't. If they are, they're usually not playing in boxing. They're usually that person.
Who's
Yeah.
the guy that hit you the hardest?
Guy named Kelly Pavlik from Youngstown, Ohio. That guy was like, I don't know if you ever stuck your finger in something and got shocked.
Yeah,
Poke,
every
like,
day.
Like I'm talking like a light bulb, like zapped.
Yeah,
Every punch he hit you with was like, man, it was like it was zapping through your body. It was the weirdest feeling
Hit you
ever.
in the core.
Everywhere that
Wow.
guy, even blocking him, boom, it was like, man, this guy.
Huh.
the kid can just punch. But
Yeah, period. He was
a lot behind
just
him.
a vicious puncher. Yeah,
So that was the guy.
yeah. Kelly
Does that get
Pavlik.
in your head? Like, I don't want to have to take one of these, in a
No,
bad
I
way?
mean it is what it is. You're in a fight. It's too late, But yeah, it was just. I mean, I had a lot of professional fights for a boxer. I had 68 professional
Did you
fights.
win that fight? Wow.
No, I lost that fight
Yeah.
actually.
That was later on, or was that?
Yeah, that was later on.
yeah.
Yeah, later on in my career.
Or would you have liked to fight him earlier on in your
Oh,
career? Would it
yeah.
have made a difference? And
Yeah,
he's
oh
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Hit him up
100%,
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not
Look
now.
him up on Facebook.
Yeah,
Kelly,
I mean,
call us, Kelly.
when you get
Don't
when
call
you
us
get to
Kelly,
a certain
we're
point,
coming
you're
for you.
it's hard to compete. I was fighting guys at one point younger than my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and I was beating some of them. Some were getting me. But after a certain point, the age catches up to you in any sport, but especially boxing.
You just knew it was this time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
was it hard to hang up the boots or the
You know,
gloves?
I'll be honest with you. I never really sat down and read a whole article about myself when I was fighting, because I remember George Foreman saying one time that you don't want to read articles about yourself because you'll believe the good and the bad, and you don't want to believe either. Just do your job. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to take that to heart. So when I actually called it quits and retired and did my interview with the different magazines and stuff, but the local newspaper first, because they always treated me well.
Yeah.
When I sat down in my garage and I read that whole article, at the end I broke down and I cried. I had so many emotions going through me, I didn't know which way to go.
Right.
Like, it was real, it hit me, and I was just
Right.
like, didn't know which way to go. And at that time, my brother called me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm sitting in my garage crying, reading this article.
Right.
I'm coming to pick you up, and we're going to go out and have a good time." And I just moved forward after that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. You get that itch once in a while, but I scratch it at home and move on.
Right,
You
right.
can always punch some guy on the street. I mean,
No, I can't do that.
Please, not me. Yeah. No, what's amazing is I just seen, probably about 2 months ago, I seen something Mike Tyson was showing someone about punching and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And the quickness and speed.
I saw that.
And
too.
I'm just like, a lot of boxers I've noticed, they never lose that.
Yeah.
And and I've met several boxers, throughout my life, and all great guys, but it's just, and they'll show me jabs or something, and it's just like they're like they're walking through these punches, just going as slow as possible, and they're faster than any punch I could ever throw.
It's what you lose
it's
is
amazing.
timing. What you lose is your timing.
Okay.
You don't lose your punching power. I mean, your speed will obviously deteriorate a little bit over time, but you lose your timing. Like,
Yeah.
I specifically remember right before my last fight, I was sparring a real young guy, and about 19, 20 years old, real fast and all this stuff. And I was making these moves, and I baited him. He did exactly what I wanted to do. He wasn't experienced enough to know what I was doing.
Right.
But I made the move, and I shot my shot, and he shot his. And his got there like just a half a second quicker than mine. It was like, bam, boom. He didn't realize that he out-timed me. But I went home that night, and I laid in my chair for, I swear to you, 2 hours. And I was replaying that over my head over and over and over. And I said, yeah, just got to admit it. It's just your timing's off. You did everything you were supposed to do. He
Right.
beat you to the punch. And I said, man, if that was a world-class fighter doing that, that could be bad.
It'd be
So
lights
I knew
out.
then. I knew then it was time.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Now, you're still involved in boxing and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And that's what I like to see is guys, they stay involved, and it's kind of like you're scratching that itch you get, by
Yeah,
helping
right.
other young men and women get in the sports. Now, do you see a lot more women getting into boxing nowadays? And what would you recommend on how to get into boxing as far as kids and
I don't necessarily say a lot more. I mean, I think it's more in the forefront right now because you've got a young lady named Clarissa Shields, who was a 2-time Olympic gold medalist for the United States, and she's been featured on Showtime as a headliner, the first woman to ever headline a show in boxing by herself like that on Showtime. So it's out in the forefront right now. I always tell people, if they're going to get into the professional level, and they always say, "What's your biggest piece of advice?" The first thing I tell them is get a good lawyer, look over all your contracts.
Right.
That's the very first piece of
Right.
advice. But take it serious, because boxing is the sport. We always say it's not a sport that you play. It's not like a tennis or golf, or you don't go out and play it. It's fighting, and it's real. And people, last year in 2019, I believe 6 fighters lost their lives in the boxing ring as a professional, and that's an oddly high number. So it's not a sport that I say take lightly. Take it serious if you're going to do it, and train hard and live it. Don't live it just Monday through Friday. It's what you do from that Friday to Monday is going to prolong your career, and you're going to be successful. Anybody can do anything Monday through Friday, but those weekends, you got to live like a champion too if you want to be one.
Right.
I think we need to get Bronco in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just get him up there.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Maybe as a special guest
Yeah.
referee.
Bronco as the manager for Rhino.
Right.
Right.
Right. There's something there.
That'd be something I think.
So, yeah.
Kind of interesting. We have a pretty good wrestling company here in Monroe.
Right.
Puts on some pretty
IWR.
decent. Yeah. I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's really good. So
It's
helps
pretty-
out the
pretty
community.
I'll be there
Really good.
tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm coming
Awesome.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Just don't hit anybody.
No.
You can't afford
I don't
the
wanna be
medical
hit
bills.
either.
So, but yeah. Now, Tom, how would you recommend if people are, artists, young artists that are thinking about getting into, or musicians that are thinking about getting into something like that or tattooing? what would you recommend their next step be? And, you know, because there's a lot of great artists out there that, you know, they sit in their room and they paint, and it's a, you know, I'm assuming art is kind of a release, you know, and
Yeah, for sure.
creativity, and, you know, so, and it's therapeutical.
I've never not felt better after painting or
Right.
tattooing. You know, by the end of it, it's just, yeah.
I'll see some of his posts and he's like, I was up all night painting. I had to get this on, you know, and I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty crazy, you know? So like, what would you recommend? Like,
I mean, to get into tattooing?
yeah. Or whether it's a young tattoo artist, whether it's someone that likes to like draw,
So
or
just
painting.
anything
Yeah.
in the
when it
creative
comes-
field?
Correct.
I mean, I think passion's huge.
Mhm.
Literally just grunting out the work and putting in the hours
Right.
is huge. And not getting too hung up on self-doubt or comparing yourself to other people that you think are better, you know, and
Right.
it just doesn't, you know, it's easier to see now after doing it for a while, couple decades, and
Yeah.
it felt like this whole big uphill push, the whole 90%, you know, first 90% of it all.
Right.
And then suddenly you kind of just look around and you all of a sudden have perspective, you know, where you can look back at your stuff that's 15 years old, and
Yeah.
you just see things differently. And in the end, you realize like that doubt plays too big of a part in it, you know, and
Right.
thinking that you're not good. But that's also it drives you, you know,
To be better.
yeah. But
Yeah.
if I had another shot at it, that would be the one thing I think I would focus on
Yeah.
the most, is just not caring and being like the best, like you,
Right.
Not you know, trying to achieve what someone else did.
Right. Now, is there a lot of critics out there that, you know, like online, that'll trash your work or something? And do you,
Everyone's
'cause-
a critic.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's happened.
yeah, okay,
You know.
because I'm sure with boxing, you know, or
But
Or
nobody,
wrestling.
no one's
wrestling,
ever really
people.
taken it to me personally.
Okay.
It's always someone
Okay.
some guy who likes some girl and he wants to dog the tattoo or something like that.
Right.
Or it's always been something like that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
as soon
because
as I
with-
get involved, the people back off pretty quick.
Okay.
You know,
Okay,
because
cool. Because your artwork is great, and the tattoos, like, you know, the portraits, like every time I see one of those, it's just amazing. Because I've seen some really bad tattoos, and
Well, everybody
It's just-
can call themselves a tattoo artist.
Right,
but, I mean,
right.
It doesn't
Mhm.
and
necessarily
you
mean
do
they're
actually
tattoo
a lot
artists.
of cover up work.
I do a fair amount of it.
Yeah, and see, and explain the difficulties, and you know, and Tom actually had to draw the spider web on, because you were talking about your body lines and stuff. People think you just get on there and just draw it up and, you know, put it on there.
I think people that know about me, they come to me because they know how I approach it a little differently.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I like a more semi-private atmosphere. I like to. It's
I know
really
you had me naked when you did mine. It
well.
was on
That
the
was your
elbow.
call.
Oh,
I didn't even.
yeah, that
you
was.
just did
I was drunk on that
Yeah,
one.
look, no
Yeah.
I
hands.
turned around. I'm
Yeah.
like, "You ready for the stencil?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Wow.
all right." I guess it's like that.
So, but he makes you feel comfortable when he's tattooing you.
Always interesting
And-
to see what you're going to
Right.
say, Terry.
I hit him with a handling fee. So
Right,
you know,
right.
Anyways.
No, but explain how, like, you know, when you're putting on a tattoo, you got to go with the body and stuff.
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
and-
ideally, you want it to flow with the body. If
Right.
you know there are, you know, if you can see, you can kind of just see the flow of someone's
Right.
body, and so
Right.
the placement of tattoos is really important.
yeah,
you know?
and then I remember him telling me how everybody would do the barbed wire tattoo around the
Mhm.
bicep, and
Oh,
it's
I
like
hate
sand.
those.
The
yeah, it's
tribal
like-
tattoos.
yeah.
barbed
It
wire.
just cuts right across all that. you
Yeah,
know,
it's
and-
like sanding with a grain. He was explaining it
yeah.
to me.
I mean,
and
that's how I see it, at least.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, so
No, it makes sense.
a
It
lot
makes
of people
perfect sense.
disagree. It was very popular.
Right, right. No, because I was wondering if you guys had critics like art or tattoo, like
You mean people who like just
dog your stuff and they've never picked up, you know, something.
I mean,
into
yeah,
it.
there's sure.
yeah, because
Yeah.
we
There's
have
probably blogs.
Oh,
that,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
okay,
talk crap
okay.
and all that.
Everybody's a critic.
right.
That's
right.
the thing with art, though, is like
and it's
you know,
subjective.
unless
really.
it's just actually like on a technical level, like bad, where you can just look at it. Anybody could be like, that's just bad.
Like if I drew a picture.
stick figures.
Right, but if you're
Terrible.
talking about
Right.
dissecting, like
Yeah.
who's, like when you get into the upper 20% of tattooers in Michigan, I mean, you might not like half of them, but they are good. You
Right.
know,
Right.
so it's a matter of opinion.
So art is subjective. I mean,
It's
you
right.
like
and generally speaking, art
Yeah.
is subjective.
Yeah. No, because I could see how that, you know, I really don't read stuff, you know.
I know I read to you.
It-
That's
No, I don't read, when people have form opinions about, because it could, really mess with you mentally.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah,
about,
if boxers and
Anything,
stuff, he lost his step or he's not this or not that.
You
or,
can't doubt
man.
yourself.
Yeah,
and be
and when you were talking about how you're really hard on yourself, if you
I
if
get
you read
nuts.
those articles.
If I see anything.
Yeah.
Because the thing with, the tattoos, it's like, it's not just me. It's the fact that it's on another human for
Right.
life, and
Right.
I'm responsible for it ultically.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Forever.
so I get a little extra defensive.
Yeah. And then you explained to me years ago that how covering a tattoo, I just figured, go over it with ink, but
Erase it.
Right. You could just cover it up. And you make it look so easy because they'll do the
Right.
before and after, and how you have to, make a tattoo to cover. Yeah. And it's just,
not everything works. It's
right. The science behind it and
Yeah.
and the thought, and kind of like with boxing and stuff, how you were saying you're trying to draw the kid in, and,
Sure.
there's a science behind boxing and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And, not with wrestling. We just go out there, act a fool, and, just yell real loud, and that's it, So
I feel like you're due for another tattoo.
yeah, I've been due for another tattoo.
It's been like
for the last
15
years.
years.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I was getting that itch, and when you give me the green light on that unicorn lower back tattoo, I'm there, brother.
It is cool though, because like any figure of his has the tattoos on it that I did and stuff like that.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah,
Video
for
game.
Sure.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say it is too cool, the unicorn tattoo. I'm like,
No.
man, I'm just
Have you
joking.
have you drawn it up yet for him?
Yeah.
Is it something?
Well, he
I
insisted
can't
on
do
drawing
it.
it himself.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was really weird.
Everybody's an
Yeah.
artist.
Right,
It looked like a 3-year-old drew it.
right.
All right, so let's get to. We didn't do it on Facebook Live today, but let's get to some questions.
Mhm.
Terry, for you, there's 2 for Terry. Mike Delaney wants to know, what's your opinion on the rebirth and rebuilding of the NWA under Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins singer, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
The unique route they have taken under Corgan's leadership to market themselves and their present championship, Nick Aldis. I don't know his name. Okay.
Nick's really cool. I think he's a good champion, very well spoken, very well dressed, good promo. I think he's very talented in the ring. I've actually wrestled him a few times. And then I like it because it's that old school feel, and it's something different, So hopefully they get a TV deal, and it kind of brings you back to the, days of NWA on TV. Have you watched it, Tom?
I haven't actually.
It's really, really good.
I know about it.
Yeah.
How involved is Corgan?
He fronts the money, and he sits down.
Does he
and,
get in on the
books
creative?
match.
Is he help creating storylines, or is he just
he books the matches?
books the
and
matches?
stuff for the most part. I think
Really?
there's a couple of them. Yeah, so a couple
so
of people that
interesting.
book the matches and stuff, and the show just flows.
Well, you met him like years and years ago.
Yeah, and really, really passionate about wrestling. So yeah,
I was surprised to find he's a wrestling fan. Honestly.
I know.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was like Billy Corgan. I'm like, I wonder if it's the same guy, but
Yeah.
the only one I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Right.
And the second part, I don't know if I'm going to say this right. Schlack.
What about it?
Do the fans get level A hazmat suits when they walk in?
I have no idea.
I don't know what that is either. So
No.
yeah.
I
So
say
thank you
yes.
for that
Maybe
question, Mike. And
That's
Okay.
Gallagher they're talking about, maybe.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, with the watermelon and stuff.
That's-
Yeah.
I'm that old.
Right.
So.
No. Yeah.
I really need somebody to screen these questions better.
Right.
Yeah.
What is it? So somebody just
says
gets stuff all over the crowd, basically.
It says Schlack. I don't know.
You know,
Schlack.
some
I
dude-
might be cussing. I might be saying a bad word. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh
Sure.
no, they just tricked you into
Right.
some crazy stuff.
I just got.
Didn't you tell me?
I just got Brett Favre.
right,
He got
right.
tricked into saying some kind of stuff on his.
Well,
We won't get into that.
That's
But yeah.
funny.
didn't you tell me Hogan would just retweet stuff like, "Hey, can you tweet out that it's my so and so's birthday and the name or something?" Someone was telling me
It
a
wasn't
couple of
me.
years ago. Yeah, like he would just retweet it. Oh, it was my cousin Vinny that told me that. Yeah, and then
You have a cousin, Vinny?
well, he's not my cousin, but I like to say he's my
Oh.
cousin.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody's
I-
like, "You have a cousin Vinny?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Mm.
Like the movie? I'm like, "What movie?" And
Right.
they're like, "Yeah, I act like I never seen the movie. Who hasn't seen the movie?" And people actually believe me.
That's
So
great.
I tell them I go, I watch The Notebook all the time, but never
That's the
seen
tattoo you should get.
Right,
Every
right.
flight. Every flight.
And the next question, it's for everybody here. I don't understand this one either, but they want to know what you think about the price of beef jerky being so high.
Can I go
I
first?
mean, it is true though. It is
drives
true.
me crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it drives me
It's
crazy.
Dehydrated
I'm very
meat
passionate
in a bag.
about this subject.
Yeah.
Way too expensive.
Walmart. I
Way
think
too
I bought a bag. It was like $13
I don't
for
need it. I don't
It's
know.
like $15 for this little boy. It's like
and what is it?
It's just I don't know.
Gets in your
Yeah.
teeth.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it does. Yeah. What do you?
I don't
Bronco?
even- I don't know. I don't
no-
really.
You never know where we're gonna get asked here on the
Yeah.
Terry and Gary's
What do you-
low
I like that
expectations
question
pod.
though, and I'm
It's
glad
thought
you're
provoking.
passionate about it.
It's
I-
provocative.
Right.
I think about it every time I go into a store. I notice
Do
it.
you really, or are you just saying that
I-
as a joke? You
like-
really think about it?
Well,
That's
yeah,
awesome
no,
if
I
you do.
swear. On
That's
everything.
I saw the
do.
question. That's the first thing I thought of. It is too damn high.
If
Right.
you would have won that thing you were running for,
Uh-huh.
you know, the thing you lost,
Right.
I would, I would have definitely tried to like slip that one through.
Right. Hey,
Really.
we got to bring down the cost of
In
beef
Dearborn.
jerky. Yeah,
Right.
in Dearborn.
We-
Throughout the state.
Well, if you
if
ever
we're
wanna-
traveling.
Well, you only had a jurisdiction.
Well, if you
Right,
ever want
right.
to run again, I think that should be one of your your top
Yeah.
models is lower than the price
Well,
of
if
beef jerky.
I'm in
Maybe
the state house, we got to
Rhino Bronco 2020.
There it is.
There you
There
go.
it is.
You know,
Ah,
make him
signs
Monroe awesome
alone,
again.
right.
Don't be a turkey.
right.
Lower the jerky.
That don't be a
Right,
turkey.
right.
Number
Build-
one issue. First thing.
Number one.
You'd
We're gonna
win, though. I'm
straighten
telling
this
you,
out.
you'd win.
Right.
A lot of people complain about this.
Right.
I hear. I got ears on the street.
Right. You're part of that Facebook page. Lower the price of beef jerky.
I mean,
All right, we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Okay.
We only got like 10 more minutes in the
I
room.
didn't
So,
get my motivational speech.
well, make it quick. What do
No, I don't want to.
do you got? No, you're on the spot now. Do it.
Well,
No, I wanna hear it.
Well, I can't.
The fans want to hear. I mean,
I
they
didn't bring
they
anything
were
up.
requesting. Oh, I want to know what Terry has to say
Yeah,
about.
Well, no, I can't.
Not about how to
because
get
I'm being
girls again,
sued
'cause I don't
for
know if
what
that
said
worked.
last week. So I gave some real bad advice, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
single men out there
Right.
on Valentine's
Right,
Day.
yeah. So I was telling them, just think out loud. Tell the woman what you're thinking.
That's always the best thing to do.
very good move.
Always.
Right, very good move.
Very smart.
Yeah.
The
it
less
didn't-
you
it
talk,
didn't
the
really-
better.
Right. Exactly. Just smile, nod, say yes, dear. So now you're married.
No, I've got
He
a girl I've
listened-
been dating for about 4 years.
He listened to your
Okay.
advice.
Right.
No.
No.
Sorry, Bronco. I was just kidding around, guys.
Yeah, I was just joking.
Right.
Tom, all right,
Yeah.
tell the fans where they can find you.
You can
Close us out here.
You can find me on Facebook, Tom Ouellette. Just do search OUELLETTE. You can find me on Instagram at art_Tom_Ouellette_, but it pops up after the first 7 underscores.
A lot of underscores.
I got to
in
probably
there.
work on that because my
Yeah.
old one was
You never
Tom
think
O
about-
tattoos, and I just never.
You never think about making it easy, you know?
I mean, everything easy's taken.
That's true.
know?
This one has been taken. Would you like to have 7 underscores under yours? And you
Put that on my
co-own a
gravestone.
tattoo shop, correct?
Huh?
A tattoo shop. You
I co-own Custom
Yeah.
Culture Tattoos,
and that's in
Brownstown.
Brownstown.
Yeah,
On what street?
on Telegraph.
Right.
Do you have a phone number or any?
Well, there's 3 of us there, and we each deal with our own
Okay.
own
Just
clientele.
contact Tom
Contact
underscore
me, yeah.
underscore
Yeah.
Ouellette.
I'm not
Now-
that hard to find.
Now, I know some of the paintings you do sell sometimes.
Yeah, I sell a lot of paintings a
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
I
So,
do commissions.
so yeah, if you're interested in looking at some of his art and stuff like
Instagram's the best place for it.
Okay.
Pretty much everything I do is on there in
Yeah,
order.
Yeah, Terry. Instagram.
that. Right.
Instagram.
You should try it.
It's good for
Right.
guys like me.
And Bronco, where can they find you?
Well, on Facebook, just Bronco McKart, and the boxing page is Bronco Superman McKart. Instagram,
Superman.
keep it simple again, Bronco McKart. And then the real estate, BroncoMcKart.com.
We used to be able to find you running down Elm Street or
All the time.
every day,
Yeah.
in your Monroe shorts
Yeah.
or your Superman trunks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's a little harder to find you.
Yep, I'll stay incognito a little bit.
But they're also going to be able to find you, bam, Saturday, February 29th at the second annual Monroe Sports Card and Collectibles Charity Show. Bronco's going to be there signing autographs for fans. Was 11-1, I think you're
I
going to be
think
there.
so, yes.
And we just signed also Jimmy King, Fab 5 Jimmy King's going to be there
Oh, yeah.
from University of Michigan. He'll
Yeah.
be there as well Saturday.
Nice.
Free admission, donations accepted. All the money goes to the Oaks that we raise for raffles and stuff. So.
Great charity. That Oaks of Righteousness is a special place Monroe has. I'm telling you, that Pastor Heather Boone,
Yeah, you
she's a
should take
blessing to the city
Yeah,
of
she
Monroe.
is. You should take the tour.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
looking
I'm
forward
telling
to it. Yeah,
He
telling
loves
you.
tours.
I do.
He was just
I
telling
do.
me.
That's where the
before
boxing gym is.
Right.
At
Oh,
the Oaks of Righteousness.
is it really?
Yeah, downstairs in the basement.
Yes,
That's where it started in the 50s and full circled all the way these years, and bam, right back down there.
I hate to change the
That's
subject,
crazy.
but just seeing all those old pictures of like the East Side and stuff and downtown Monroe, and it was just, it was beautiful. I mean, just all
Yeah.
the old buildings, and there was just so many stores. It was like the East Side was almost its own downtown network itself.
It was.
and it just had some great buildings, and it's just unfortunate, like a lot of them are gone now.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
But we also want to thank our sponsors, Timeless Ink Tattoo Gallery,
Mm-hmm.
Rob Miller Art,
Right.
Source Point Press,
Mm-hmm.
Big Daddy's Boat Yard.
Right on.
They have boats and they have water.
Right.
And boats and boats.
Oh, there you go. I was baiting you.
I know you were. He was.
And the
Boats
Monroe
and
Pop
boats.
Fest.
Boats and boats.
Boats and boats and boats.
Are you involved? You're involved in the Monroe Pop Fest.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that'd be something I should look into? Getting
I think
involved
so.
in? Yeah.
We
Been suggested to me before.
we put the Artist Alley apps up January 1st, and all 50 sold out within the first 20 days.
What's that, booths you mean?
Yeah, Artist Alley booths. And then we have vendor booths that we do too. We have 150 total booths. We get about 3,000 people through the door in one day. And it's a fun show. We got some great announcements coming up too, so I don't want to tell anybody yet. But we got Tim Jacobus, artist of Goosebumps. If you guys were, back in the day for the kids. We got Bill Morrison, artist for Mad TV, Mad Magazine. He was actually the editor of Mad Magazine.
Really?
And then he also did The Simpsons, Bongo Comics. Yeah, we got a lot of great. We got a really good lineup coming up this year.
Nice.
But it's definitely something you should look up.
Yeah.
www.monroepopfest.com.
There you go.
What about the Big Days Boatyard? What do you need to say about that besides the boats and water?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
Can I
see
fish there
Good.
soon?
Yeah, you got a boat, you need a dock.
Buy
come
slips.
see me. Yeah.
Can I fish
Rent
there
them.
in the spring?
Rent them.
Yeah,
rent 'em.
you can fish anytime. I told you that.
Can I bring her?
Big
Yeah,
fish.
go ahead.
All right, cool.
She loves Monroe.
She loves Monroe.
Yeah, Monroe's.
I'm gonna.
Her family.
I
lives
love
here.
Monroe.
Yeah, I
Bronco
do.
loves
I'm
Monroe.
gonna get her
Sure,
on board.
no doubt.
Monroe.
Yeah. So
But all right, so thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, we'll have iTunes up soon. Thanks, Bronco. Thanks, Tom.
you.
Thanks always, Terry.
yes,
And we got some other guys here. Thank you guys for coming in.
yes.
Appreciate you.
Live studio audience.
Live studio
Right,
audience. We need
right.
some laugh tracks. So
Yeah,
ain't nobody
there you
laughing.
go.
The only people laughing was us.
You know, just so you know, I washed my T-shirt that you gave me. I
Yeah.
always thought it was Gary and Terry's.
No, I put you
blowout.
first.
Yeah, I know.
put you first. They don't know
when
who the heck I am.
I looked at it and I'm like,
And Rhino
oh, I
and
got
Gary
the
didn't
name
have
wrong,
the
you know?
Rhino and Gary didn't have the same ring, so I was like, no.
Yeah, no, it works either way, I guess.
And Terry and Gary TV is up on YouTube too. So
Yeah,
did you
right.
have you watched the videos?
No, you didn't tell me. You gotta.
Oh yeah, I
busy
forgot to tell
man.
you. Yeah.
He's kind of
Terry
like
and
my
Gary.
wife. if
Terry
you
and Gary
haven't, you
TV
know.
is up on YouTube, so
Right,
go ahead and
right.
subscribe to that.
right.
You can get all the latest
And how can you?
Insane Wrestling Revolution footage,
Right.
as well as the Terry and Gary's Low Expectations podcast.
Yeah,
That's what we do here, Terry.
exactly.
Yeah, so-
I'm just agreeing with. A lot
Yeah,
of
I know.
stuff.
I see that. I see that a lot. But
That's
I
my
like to-
wife right there. He just tells
Hey,
me
where you
like,
wanna-
be there at a certain
Oh,
time.
how's
All
your
right, I'm
wife?
there. Yeah, well, I got a couple of them.
Yeah.
So I see.
All right, so go to the Facebook page at Terry and Gary. Subscribe on iTunes when we're up, and subscribe on YouTube, and follow along with Low Expectations. Thanks, everybody.